Yep. Oh. Howdy, I'm Jimmy. We're in the jungle today, finally. Gotten warmer. There's a lot of flowers popping up lately. I've spread a lot of seed around to get more flowers going eventually. So I've been wanting to make this video because I'm the type of person that changes his mind, and I've said stuff in the past that was just wrong and that I don't agree with anymore in my current state of mind and my path forward. Made a lot of videos, and I was reviewing my videos trying to see like where I had made a mistake. And I gotta say, most of what I've said I still agree with, like 90% probably, 95 maybe. There's just a couple things I've put out there in the public that I want to correct. And I just think anybody who's putting information out, you know, like the mainstream media, like all these podcasters, you know, they should have these talks if they're genuine humans with you. Because you can catch them in their lies. You can see their old videos where they lied about something, then they change their mind, and they never even address it. They don't even, because they're just lying to make money, right? That's what's really going on here with most of these people talking on the internet. They're distractions. They're a waste of your mind to even listen to, in my opinion. And I don't want to waste your mind. I don't want to waste your time. I'm doing my best in my due diligence. So I went through my catalog of videos, and I want to bring up my mistakes and admit how I was wrong. So the first one, I just made a video on cannabis. And I said how it's tough to quit using cannabis on a full moon. Which I guess it was, but I just did it. So maybe quitting on a full moon is even better. Alright, I don't know. And the more I get into this cannabis, psychedelics, alcohol, even coffee, right? You gotta say coffee's got its spirit about it. These drugs are entities. They're not what you think they are. That's just my opinion. I'll point to Tony Sayers and how he kind of describes using drugs and opening yourself up to entity attachment here. So I think for the longest time, I've been wanting to not be superstitious at all and just say everything can be kind of logically explained, and that, you know, cannabis use or doing drugs is like a form of escape, which it is, but it's not that simple. I think there's far, far more to these substances than we know. And so maybe cannabis has an entity attachment with it that I'll warn you about, that I didn't warn you in my previous video. And then I made a list of a couple other videos I want to talk about. Observe instead of judge. So I like that concept of observing instead of judging. And I'll tell you, most of that video is 100% correct. But sometimes I kind of came to some wrong conclusions in that video that I want to explain. Really simple. You have to take your time to observe before you make your final judgment. Okay? My mistake in that video was trying to tell you not to judge. And you need to judge. You have to make judgments here and go with it. That's the way it is. You can't float in this observation emptiness space that I was kind of preaching, okay? I was wrong. Observation is the tool that you use to get to your judgments. So I want to make that clear. You should be judging things here, okay? Or else you wouldn't really know what the heck to do, who to trust, how to move forward in this realm. And then I made a video called Hybrid Gnostic Theory. Pretty interesting take if you haven't heard of the Gnostics and the Demiurge and all that. It kind of ties into the soul trap theory. But I said something like, you know, this is our home. And, you know, like, you wouldn't be here unless this was your home and yada yada. And I definitely have changed that whole perspective. So this is not my home, okay? The way that I really view this realm that I'm in right now, this is a battlefield, okay? This is a war zone. This is a demilitarized, or this is a militarized war zone. That's why it's this plane that is encapsulated and kind of cut off from the rest of creation. I talk about it being an experiment, but I think it's really a battle. There's a battle going on every day within you. There's battles going on outside of us all the time. This is a battlefield. This isn't our home. Right now it's a temporary place, of course, but you got to realize you're at battle here, okay? I don't want to make the mistake of saying, you know, this is our heavenly paradise and we need to fix it. No, no, no. I think you just came here to express what you are and have battle with that. And have battle with all these other things that are against what you are in eternity. And see where it all kind of, see what happens. Right? I don't have all the answers, but I'm telling you, this is a battle we're in. That's why I choose to be a warrior here, not a captive. Also in that video, I was talking about freedom and rights and how people have the freedom to kind of do whatever they want and make all these mistakes and do all these things. And yeah, people do. But see, the freedom of their mistakes end when it encroaches on your rights. I did not include that part. And I think I said, you know, I don't have the right to stop these people from doing all the stuff they're doing. And now I'm really changed my mind. I do have the right to end government. We all do. We've all been encroached upon. We've all been just taken and twisted and torn to pieces to live in this way we live. So we do have a right to end it. We do have a right to stop people who think they're free to enslave you, okay? I don't know what, I was getting into that new age, new cage thought of everything is happy and we're fine, and ultimately I do feel that way. But that's not for right here, right now. Okay, that's for after this story has been settled. That's for after this battle has been done here. So then the last video I want to talk about is my natural science and simulation theory video. It's pretty long, and man, most of it's really powerful. It's really good information. But I guess like right after I had made that video, I kind of fell into the Gnostic demiurge thoughts that I don't see this realm as some, you know, mother, father creation coming down and making this place and sacrificing themselves and we're their children. Like, I fell into that Gnostic theory stuff, and it's just like all the other stupid religions that you're a creation instead of the obvious fact that you're a creator and you have the ultimate power and you've been tricked out of it here. So I say, you know, I was kind of saying in my hybrid video, this is not a simulation. This is not a matrix. I've definitely flipped all of that and changed my mind, and yeah, we're in a matrix simulated holographic something or other. But we are real. There is something real about some of us here in this computer program, in this thing, this place where time and space and forms are created but are not permanent. You know, it's always transitory. Everything is changing. You could never just freeze things here. There is no constant. It should kind of tell you this is not eternity. This is some fairy tale, fantasy, movie, video game story that you jumped into to have battle. This is a battle zone. And I just know nobody wants to hear that. You weren't taught that you're at battle with invisible forces. You know, you were taught to battle your neighbor. You were taught to fight with people across the world that look different than you, okay? All part of the tricks of the warfare that goes on here. You were taught to ignore the obvious. You have the right to be left alone, even by your goddamn parents and their crazy, twisted ways of trying to manipulate you. I'm just gonna say it. It's just, I do not see authority as anything but evil here. There's something going on here that is the total opposite of the prime reality that I think of. You know, I was just saying this is a matrix simulated fake reality. It's because I know there's a real reality where this shit would never be allowed to happen. There is a peaceful home that we come from. But I'll tell you, most of the people here don't have no clue about that home. And right now you can only experience that home within yourself. And you can go to it through your mind, through your heart. But then you open your eyes and you look around, you're still here in this simulated battle right now. Is what I want to point out. And you're surrounded by homunculuses, clones, golems, hylics, NPCs. You're surrounded by spiritual madness or consciousness gone mad. This is a realm where corruption was allowed to grow and become powerful. Very, very powerful. You got to think about that when you look out at what's going on. And it explains why the corruption continues to grow and why the people here are corrupt. And they continue to make it worse. They don't have the creative capabilities like you and I do to change and fix things. They're disempowered spirits, if they even are real. You know, I have this whole idea that we're in a simulation and they're probably just programs. And I have to point you to the Schizo Dump's latest video about emotion and how I've been talking about this the last couple weeks in my videos, is these adult babies, right, that are ruled through their emotion. I've really come to this conclusion. They do not have the capability to think of the past, the future, the present, and imagine a reality. Most of the people you're stuck around that can't think outside the box or whatever, they're stuck in this emotional state of there's only good. There is no bad, okay? And if there is bad, it's the person that's talking bad, okay? Like, it's not that we can have open conversations about ideas with these type of people because they can't comprehend what an idea, how an idea manifests in reality. They don't have these capabilities of consciousness like you and I do. And it just is what it is. I can't care how anybody feels about it, right? And that's the whole trap about this matrix, is they want you to discard your wisdom, your logic, for feel-goodness, right? And that's why I just knew, like, me getting off of cannabis and the way it made me feel would just bring the original Jimmy back and set my mind on fire about what's really going on here. I know I was smoking to not address this. I was smoking to have it easier. I was smoking so I didn't have to go to battle all the time. But now I realize, like, dude, you're in a battlefield, and I was subdued. I was taken by a substance, all right? But for a purpose. I'm not going to act like I gave in and gave myself up entirely during all of that. There was a purpose. There was a lot that I experienced that I needed to go to prove this reality to me, okay? It's just, to me, the most important thing about this battle that we are in is going back to your state of innocence and going back to that state of purity. Because you look around you, you don't see that. You see the wrong thing, and then you see people doubling down on the wrong thing, and then another person comes along to convince them why they need to keep doing another wrong thing. There's no purification process with an NPC. They've been programmed for more and more corruption based off of feelings, okay? Based off, like, you said a bad thing, so you're bad. Simplest way to put it is how most of these robots and NPCs think around you, and these boomers that you cannot have a conversation with about reality and how it all needs to change, okay? You're the bad guy because you brought up something bad. It's an emotional state that they live in, and I'm kind of like, it's not even like they can mature. It's not even like they can break out of that. Okay, they're the enemy in disguise. They're your neighbors. They're probably part in your family. You know, they're obviously the stupid politicians, you know. And I have to point you to Tony Sayers on a lot of this, because it's just, he's connected a lot of dots for me that I don't want to be superstitious, but good golly, you kind of like are so encapsulated in this realm, and we don't see what's actually going on. That you have to reach out beyond and take your best shot, your best guess at what goes on beyond this reality. And it does seem like there are entities attaching to humans and twisting them into some anti-human archonic force here to just rule, disgrace, and disempower you. It's this idea that power is even a thing. It's this strange, fucked up reality here that men have power to kill other men if they don't obey them. And you see it all throughout society. You see the And this is the enemy that I talk about, this idea that somebody can have power over anyone else. That's only something for a fearful coward to live out. Only a coward tricks other people, manipulates them because they're afraid. And it really seems like this force, it's just the opposite of good. It's the opposite of beauty. It does not have the capability to feel and to rationalize right and wrong. It's just wrong. And that's all it wants to keep creating. And it wants to create that through you because it does not have the creative capabilities that you have. So it literally, these entities, which they could be all these different drugs that you take. They could be all these different religions that you believe in. I was just watching a video the other night of the Alien Federation and how and the white hats are here to save you, right? It's just all of this mental garbage, these mental attacks to make you think somebody else is there to save you and that you don't have the ability to save yourself. And that we don't have the ability to clean this realm up. You know, it's kind of like what's going on here in this current story that they're really trying to push and convince everybody of is evil won. Evil is going to always win. We're going to always be stuck under the thumb of evil in this realm. And I beg to differ. I really think their time is up, and that's why I'm here, that's why you're here, that's why the internet has existed. To get us into this worldwide state to where there is a person like me everywhere, planted everywhere right now. We all know we're at battle. We know this needs to end. And it doesn't matter how many clones, homunculuses, and golems we're surrounded by. They're fake. They're playing out a story. It's like when I think this is a brilliant perspective. You go back to when they first created plays and Shakespeare. They were just trying to get people to imitate what they did in the play. That's why you had sitcoms, right? I just can never forget in the 90s, sitting there watching Friends. You know, they made this sitcom about friends and how the friends act with you. They're trying to imprint on you a way to be, okay? Instead of you taking the action to investigate this realm, figure it all out yourself, have that power and that passion for life, they want you to sit there, watch a screen, and imitate a falsity, imitate a trick. Okay, and then it goes all the way to these golems, these homunculuses and clones. Yeah, they're literally, physically living around you, trying to get you to join them in a fake false happiness, a fake false love. And these hard talks, I'll tell you, it takes anger, and you really need to look at your society and look at what they've done to men who get angry, and how they just, man, that's the last thing they would want, is for a moral man who knows right and wrong to be angry about the situation around him. And I just realized, like, I went through that wet lettuce, smoking myself to escape phase, because I was like, why do I want to be angry? I would rather be happy, you know? I'd rather just ignore those emotions, right? I was dead wrong. Anger is one of the most important emotions for a man. It's the fuel with a fire of care and compassion here. It's why you defend your family. It's why you care about anything, is you're angry about what's being done, okay? You're not just, oh, happy, 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 I'm happy everything is this. No, 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 no. That's the big trick here. This is a realm for anger. Anger is your power. And I'm not saying to get all crazy and angry and frustrated. I'm just saying it's an important emotion to embrace as a man. And I gotta put Mark Passio's Sacred Gift of Anger video in the description for you. And just how it's so obvious. It's just so obvious. Like, if you don't get angry, you're already defeated. Like, you're not going to want to change anything. You're just going to keep coming up with weird psychological nonsense within your mind space to say, oh, I could be happy all the time, and I just keep lying to yourself to not be angry and change things around you. All these psyops to get men out of their true essence. We're sovereign, and we don't put up with this crap. And we're doing what we can to change it, all right? If I was Superman, and I was able to fly, and I was impenetrable, and I had laser, dude, I would have already gone around, collected all these thugs, put them in a prison for you. I would have already done it. Let me tell you. If I had the physical capabilities, if I had the mech suit, I could jump into the mech suit, and I was impenetrable, and I had my laser, and I just went around destroying all governments, all the armies. I would. Any man with any true grit would. But that ain't this battle. This is not a simple smash the bug battle. So I definitely wanted to bring up some corrections in my previous videos. Pretty interesting because I'm correcting a lot of habits in my life right now when I look back. So it's time, right? Time comes for purity and innocence to return. And I do believe, as corrupt and crooked and fucked up as this realm is, it can all be changed. I'm telling you, this is a battle, but this could be a battle that could be won, and then at least for your generation, you can live in peace and harmony here. Okay, I'm not here to tell you this is a realm where evil always wins. That's the story you've been told. That's the story that they keep propagating. They've erased history. If you've been paying attention, not too long ago, we were all using free energy. We had magnificent, beautiful buildings, okay? Study the world fairs. Look around the world at all the ancient architecture and how it's been melted, right? It does seem like this battle here that happens, it's entirely up to you where it goes. And I say it a lot, you got to realize how weak and powerless these world leaders and all their followers are, okay? They're fakes. They don't have the true grit or creative capabilities that you do, okay? They're constantly trying to put you down. They're constantly trying to enslave you with money. They're always trying to tempt you into wasting your money, which is all just energy. And I've wasted a hell of a lot of energy dealing with my traumas and all that crap. And hey, we all got to take our time and get through things that happened to us in the past that we did not understand. So, you know, we hid it deep inside of ourselves and we did things to escape that pain. Let me tell you, I'm an expert at escapism. I just think of the game. I even used to play this game called Escape from Tarkov. I would go and play my video game to escape the fucked up reality. I could go in there and hunt other people and win sometimes. And, you know, it was pretty hilarious looking back at the patterns of escape that I've taken. And I know you've taken. Like, I just feel like we're all in this. We want to be home. We want to be where we're supposed to be. But we're at battle right now, guys. Okay, no matter what you think, no matter what victim this, victim that, I was soul trapped here. I don't want to hear that crap, dude. Okay, I have that much faith in myself that I chose to come here and go to battle and get my mind wiped, let them fuck with me, let them do whatever they're doing, just to reach this point right here, right now, to be back in it, to be connected back to what I am and who I truly am meant to be here. And I'll end it in this final note, because I'm just rambling on. I'm about finished with my permit on my house. So I'm about done. I just got a little bit of work to do, but I just find it so fascinating to me personally that I came to New Hampshire. I've been building this house since 2020. So it's been 6 years about. But as I've been building this house, I've been building my inner house as well. I've been deconstructing parts of me and building them back up. And then, like I'm saying in this video, made mistakes. Had to rip this board out and put another support board inside myself, all right? And I'm about there to be done with the house. But that's only, you know, I'm still going to have a lot of things to add to the house going forward. But the foundation has been set. And I just think about this outer experience I've been having and building the cabin, with this inner experience I've been going through to build a foundation for myself and what reality is, and it's all kind of coming together at once. I'm not a coincidence person. I'm a synchronicity. Everything happens on time for a purpose. And I just wonder what's going on in your life. What kind of project, what kind of outer projects are aligning with your inner world right now and is showing you a whole new possibility here. But I really just want to correct my past mistakes that I've made talking to you. It's important to me to have integrity and the courage to admit when I was wrong. All right? This is some strange battle you're in. Don't get all wet lettuce and get Stockholm Syndrome and try to think this is your home. And somehow you're some corrupted, sinful problem that needs to be fixed or learn a lesson. You're here for the truth. You represent the highest of the high. Okay, that's what I'm trying to be. That's what I'm connected to, and that's what flows through me. That's why none of this stuff here really resonates at all. I realize I'm one of those rare representatives of a place beyond this place. Doesn't make me better than anybody, let me tell you. We're all on equal footing here. But I bring that high standard, that high moral down into this cartoon character that I'm playing. And that's when the magic really happens here. That's when the fun really starts. Tapping into what you really are beyond all this nonsense. Going there, getting there within yourself. Not allowing anybody to get in between you and yourself anymore. But it's that pure sovereignty. So have a good battle while you're here. Don't forget your purpose. Don't forget who you are beyond all this. I love you. Enjoy.